Welcome back to another episode of the Randy Wilson podcast. I'm your host, Randy Wilson. This is episode 47. Glad to have StephenthaDream with me today from This, That, and the Third. I'm talking about the number one podcast in North Carolina and South Carolina, to be honest with you. He's in Charlotte, really bridging the boundaries on both sides. But we talking about the number in the Charlotte area, and has been doing it for a while. Stephen does a lot of podcasts. He has an interview series called This, That, and the Third. We're going to get into that. He also does a lot of hosting for a lot of events in the city. So, I mean, Stephen is your guy. If you're listening to this podcast and you are not from North Carolina, but you're making your way through, you need to make sure that you go ahead and hit up StephenthaDream on Instagram, get connected with him, because when you come through the area, trying to get plugged in, he's your guy. So thank you, Stephen, for being a part of the show. This is a new season, man. So I'm glad to have you on, man.
I really appreciate that. Randy, I got to call you. It's awkward for me to call you that. I'm sure we'll get into why, but Thank you for the intro. Definitely just somebody in the area of the Carolinas who's trying to bridge that gap and then expand it out into the world. And that's what we do through entertainment, media, podcasting, hosting, all those things. So,
yeah. Go ahead and let them know if they're tuning in and they're not familiar with you, how they can get connected with you.
Yeah, so the main way you can connect me is on Instagram, StephenthaDream, any platform really, StephenthaDream. That's StephenthaDream. That's on most platforms. You can also contact me on This, That, in the Third series on Instagram as well. We do the podcast series. If you're an artist, if you're a business, looking to tell your story, really to kind of get a one-on-one in-depth conversation on what you got going on, then I'm kind of the guy that you want to come to for that. Also, I have a promotional company where I promote different artists and different things going on in the Carolinas called Carolina Heat Up, which I'm repping today as well. You can contact us there. Those are all our platforms. Emails are the same as well. So.
All right, man. So Stephen, let's kind of get right on into it, man. How did you get involved in media? What was the start?
I would say my first opportunity in actual media was in 2015. I actually was I got an opportunity to do an online sports radio show. I created the show. I just was able to get the platform to do it. It was called the Clutch Radio Show. So that was my first time actually being on an airwave or a platform in terms of jumping into radio, hosting a show. That was really before podcasting was really a big thing. But I'll say even earlier, just to go back a little, I posted a clip today. Really my first time being in front of people and speaking and it being projected to a audience on the internet was at Emory&Henry, the college that we both attended at a time. With my guy Quentin Watkins, Travis Matthews, we actually did a show called Peace of Mind, we did it on Facebook. We recorded, posted up. We talk about different topics from relationships to different things men and women both go through to just normal topics that people were experiencing. So that was really when I got to start. And it kind of took off being, on a college level, but with them being from Virginia, me being from the Carolinas, both of our audiences from there were tuned in. So that's when I learned like the power of your voice is important, because some of these people who saw me back then doing that, like their comment on the video, I haven't talked to them in years, but they've been following me and watching me. And they're like, yo, I see you're still doing your thing. I can't believe I used to watch you doing that. So that was really my first introduction into, sitting there talking, being on a mic, just get familiar with being in front of the camera.
Yeah. Okay. Because I'm in Virginia, you obviously in North Carolina, South Carolina. When I reference that for the audience, I'm saying that because he's in Charlotte, and so he has ties in both places. I mean, he has family in both places, so he works both sides of the boundary there. But one of the things I wanted to talk about in this conversation, Stephen, being that I'm from North Carolina, but we're in different states. For North Carolina and Virginia to be neighboring states, I don't seem to feel like the hip hop music is. I don't feel like they're cousins. I don't feel like they're relatable. I feel like North Carolina and South Carolina are family. You know what I'm saying? But I don't feel like Virginia and North Carolina. I mean, I know artists have collabed, and I know that there's relationships. But when I think about North Carolina hip hop and I think about Virginia hip hop, I see them as like completely two different lanes. What's your take?
I definitely agree with you. And I'll say for two reasons. I'll say what Virginia has done has been so historic in music and so big. Y'all have literally made your own, wave, for years since I've grown up. Missy, Timberland, Trey Songz, Chris Brown. Like, I mean, we can go through the names of people in VA that are just legendary. So, and Charlotte, not Charlotte, I'll say North Carolina, like our first, big name in terms of that type of music was J. Cole. That was the big.
Before that, I would say Petey Pablo.
Petey Pablo for sure. Petey
Even though
Pablo.
I think he was lame, I'm just saying.
No. There's all respect to Petey Pablo. He definitely deserves it for breaking into that lane.
Yeah.
He was on a huge platform. And him, we didn't have as many. And I'll say, like, yes, we had the Casey and JoJo's, the Fantasias, the Anthony Hamiltons. Those were all there. But you guys really in hip hop established your own lane. I also want to kind of say geographically, Charlotte's like, kind of at the bottom of the map, in terms of just the North Carolina area, and a lot of what, like, even Richmond is kind of like up there. VA Beach is up there, to the right. So it's kind of like, I didn't never hear a lot of people just, working back and forth between the two that much.
Yeah.
But sonically, I just think you guys have carved out your own lane to where, like, it would have looked like that. We didn't have anybody that blew and had a sound like you guys.
Well, I think one of the things about North Carolina that is valuable in this hip hop space is that you can have an artist like J. Cole, you know what I'm saying, that kind of can boom bap, He's
Right.
an artist, you know what I'm saying? And then you can have an artist like the Baby, who's blown up. I mean, he's ridiculous. And they are from the same state and they play completely different lanes. Crazy. So it's real interesting. I wanted to touch on that, but let's get back to the city of Charlotte. You definitely are. You definitely the plug. I mean, you definitely the glue. You seem like you the glue. I mean, I want y'all to hear this. I mean, I want to believe people their flowers. Like, you are the glue right now with being a connector for artists and giving them a platform, giving them a voice, helping them, giving them venues, show opportunities to perform. What is that like for you, like right now? What is that like? Because I see you in a space where you're continuing to evolve and grow, and the hip hop community is growing as well. So, like, how would you define the space that you're in right now with where your career is going?
I definitely appreciate you saying that. I mean, what I try to do is to not look at it that way. I try to look like it's just another person who's just doing their part. But, like, I've been able to step back and kind of just see, what's been going on, kind of the ways that I've helped people connect dots. And I think it's great. It's always what I've wanted to do is just help, because, we all, of course, might have spit a rap or two, but I never wanted to be an artist. I never aspired to be, but I had friends that had dreams and hopes. And I was just always kind of a guy that was around and was smart enough to say, hey, why don't we do this? Why don't we do that? And, from the time from like 2010 to now in that community, I've shot videos. I've put people in contact with radio. I've, put people in contact to do music videos. I've done a good job at trying to keep my face clean. And that's been very, very important, because I'm not from Charlotte. So a lot of people in Charlotte are just like, they'll give you the respect and love because I never fought them in high school. I never did nothing to them crazy. So a lot of that is just they look past that and they say, oh, well, he's coming from a sincere place. But just the feeling of knowing that sometimes it's pressure, bro. I'll be real with you, because you want to make sure that you're doing your part, and at the same time, like, there's certain people that want you to look out and they want you to do other things for you, and you got to realize, like, this is a business at a lot of the turns and a lot of the avenues, and some people don't understand that, and I've had to deal with a lot of that, because I'll do favors all day, but at the end of the day, I'm running the business and feeding me and mine. So I will say, evolving in the game and how I feel, it's a good feeling, but there's more I want to do. There's still more I want to do.
Yeah, for sure, man. Just for to give some accolades and credits. This brother, man, this is Stephen the Dream. I know him as Stephen. Government name. I know his name is Stephen Smith. He's had a few runs in with Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah.
I mean, this is Stephen Smith. He's had a few runs in with Stephen A. Smith. He's had a few runs in with Shaq. He was on First Take. Ran into Shaq again in the hotel. Like you definitely found a way to make yourself visible. I saw you with what's his name, Jatana, what's his name?
Jadena.
Jadena. I saw you with Jadena one day.
That was me as Jadena.
This brother, man, is the most looked. He is the most. He can make himself look like anybody that got red hair in the beard. Delonte West. You know what I'm saying? Shaq called him out for that. So like, it's comedy. You may have seen him in the Babies. I think the first video that the Baby really got jumping with. What was that? What was that video called?
Suge was one of his first big ones. Yeah.
Yeah, you a big DaBaby fan too, man. I can tell. Like, that's your guy. That's your guy.
So I'll say, like, I definitely, he's shown me respect every time I've met him, which a lot of people will get a certain vibe or a certain way from it. And I like an artist that is still humble enough at times. But I know that he put in a lot of work. Like, I remember Baby Jesus and, people saying like, yo, his name in the city, and he worked hard. His flyers were everywhere. The stickers is still in certain places that have been there for years. And when you watch that and you see somebody make it to the top, he didn't pick me to be in his music video, but I think everything happens for a reason. Like, I meet certain people for a certain reason, and I know the energy that I put out into the world, that it just by happen chance that happened too. I happened to be in the video. But I think that him as an artist and the things that he's done are amazing. I've never seen nobody from here do it like this. And the fact that he's literally the #1 artist in the world in a city that has so many talented artists, I'm just ready for the next one and the next one and the next one. And that's what I'm here to try to help propel.
All right, so who do you, I know that you're in a business, man. You can't fan out so much. I don't know how much can you fan out publicly right now? Like, who would you say, you know what I'm saying? Who do you think's next in line from the Queen City to come out?
So I want to give you just a couple names, just because I think there's a lot of people that are right there, and I can't wait to see it happen. But there's a guy by the name of Quantrell Coakley who's been doing this thing for a while. He goes by Q, but he actually had a song on NBA 2K last year, if you played it, called Momentum.
I played it.
He worked this deal with United Masters, and I know he's doing a lot of stuff, and I've always just liked his artistry. He's always been for the city. There's a guy by the name of Hot Boy Lil Shaq. Real dope in the city. The city loves him. Everybody in Charlotte knows who Hot Boy Lil Shaq is. We've been waiting on him to pop as well. He just did a feature and a video with Lil Boosie for like a big song that's out here as well. And then I would say there's this girl named Sianka who I've been seeing a lot do her thing. Oh, my bad. I think somebody. There's a girl named Sianka who does her thing. She's like a songstress, R&B. She actually just had some vocals put on the Nas Hit Boy album. So she actually featured on there. And those are just like some underground people that I know are just right there on the bubble that maybe next week, maybe next month, you might hear their name pop for real. It's just, this business is so crazy, and what's going on in the world right now is wild. I actually do some managing for an artist named Kayla Tiffany, who is really dope. I'll let y'all check her out. But if you just type in Kayla Tiffany, I won't fan out too hard on her, but she's one of the artists that I've gotten behind personally. I work with everybody. If you working, if I think you're doing something, I'll work with you. But with her in particular, she's got a dope sound and just a dope opportunity to be great. So check them out.
What's up? Yo, there's an artist out of South Carolina that you rock with real hard. Something Sav. Off Top, what's his name?
Off Top Sav. So Off Top Sav is dope, from Chester, South Carolina. The crazy thing about him, last year he actually was involved in a situation where he got shot 10 times. The neck, the face, the legs, arms. It was I mean, they had to airlift him to the hospital. He lived, he survived. He's walking, he's talking, he's back active again. But you know, when something like that happens to you, like music's probably the first thing on his mind because it's the last thing he was doing, but also the furthest thing from his mind because you got to get back to life. So yeah. I can't wait to see him really, you know, step back out into the game because he was right there on that level with the Baby All-Star Weekend that year, performing on the same level. 1 month later, something happens, and you know, we all see what happened with 50 Cent. I'm not saying it's the same situation, but I tell, like, for him to still be alive after that, for him to still have an opportunity to do music, he's an artist that before that happened, he had a chance to blow, and I know now with his story, I mean, hey, the sky's the limit.
Yo, so we talked about it one time on IG Live. How much time do you spend looking at the Virginia music scene? Like, is anyone you paying attention to? Anybody I need to connect you with? Anyone that, you know, what are you seeing right now?
So in VA,
let me get outside opinion, particularly from StephenthaDream, who this, that, and the third, number one podcast in North Carolina.
No, like, so VA has always, like I said, like had his own like sound and own vibe. There's some artists out there, man. I know for sure I got turned on to the artist that you put me on to from Pusha T's label. Yeah, I got turned on to him. I've been checking him out a lot. Is he actually from VA too?
He's from Petersburg.
Petersburg, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I've checked him out. There's a guy named oh man, he slips my name right now, but he's from Richmond. But I've actually worked Killer K. Killer K is his name.
Okay.
He's dope. I like him a lot. I've actually like spoken to him. And then there's a lot of producers. I do a show called The Skip Line as well. Mm-hmm. With a producer called I Got 20 on My Beat, who's a producer in Charlotte. And we've actually had some beats submitted from Virginia that like they're soulful as hell, bro. It's like something about that soulful sound that y'all still keep. And it reminds me a lot of that North Carolina feel, but it's just so different.
Yo, Virginia got some crazy producers, man. You know, I interviewed Vernon Williams. He is with the VIP's TV, but like, I mean, there's some producers that I've had on my podcast that sometimes it frustrates me that like people, if they see a face and they don't recognize it, they don't engage. And a lot of times they don't know who the producer is. Like Hadef Raja, I interviewed him 4 or 5 episodes ago. He has gold records with ASAP, with Mike Will, Ray Strumman, Push. I mean, he got records. You know, he got you're talking about NBA 2K. He produced that song that Ferg's on that NBA 2K, and that's a Hadef Raja song. He's got a song on what's the shooting game everybody the kids play?
Fortnite.
All that stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Call of Duty.
Call of Duty.
So like, you know, he's a crazy producer. Keno Beats was a producer I had on the show. A lot of people familiar with Knox, and I mean, there's just so many producers. There's a dope producer in Richmond by the name of Name Brand that I like to give some love to. He's Michael Millions' brother. Michael Millions is a legendary artist here out of Richmond. You got Young Land in Richmond who got Defiant Studios, and like if you come through Richmond at some point, and artists are spending money to get in, you know, in that studio in Yellow House Studios. So I mean, yeah, you got to come up, man. You got to come up and, you know, break bread.
I can't wait to come up to Virginia because I'll tell you, like, even with my whole like Carolina Heat Up thing, like my whole idea of it to begin with actually sparked while I was in Atlanta. And, you know, I was talking to some people and we were like, we know a lot of people from different areas. Like Carolina Heat Up, I wanted to turn into Virginia Heat Up, you know, Miami Heat Up, you know, and we can talk more, but I can't wait to really spread it out more because I've been so Carolina centric for the last 2 years, which has been, you know, a great thing. But I tell people all the time, like I'm missing out on something. Like, I don't know. I don't think it's my age. I think it's like I'm missing out on some of the kids out there. Like I'm not hip on some of the mainstream people out there, but it's just because I'm so focused on what the Carolinas got going on. Like, it's just, we got enough talent out here to where I don't want the door to close because it's wide open. based on the person that kicked it open, but it could close Petey Pablo to J. Cole to the Baby. There's a lot of years in between that time. And not to say nobody else came out in between then, but I just want the door to stay open.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I feel like, I feel like for people like us, man, there's a need out there for artists to have platforms they can show their ability to communicate, not just rap or sing. You know what I'm saying? So like, they gotta get things out. It's good for them. It's good for their fans. But for us, you know what I'm saying, as bloggers, vloggers, whatever you want to, podcasters, whatever you want to call it, for us, we have to be careful. We establish a foundation in the areas that we reside, but we got to be very conscious to expand ourselves and stretch ourselves, because we won't get any further than the city
Right.
if we don't, step ourselves out the city. And I think that's the beautiful thing about what the pandemic has done. It's kind of forced us to, we've had Zoom for a long time, but we never thought about it like this.
Right.
I was trying to figure out how to interview people in other places. I was like, what kind of program? I didn't realize I had the program. Didn't even realize, like, plug up the mixer, let's go. You know what I'm saying? So we got to do that, man. I mean, that's like right now, I'm very focused with like, my last 4 interviews, I'm in a series right now, 4 interviews, and you're in a series of these 4 interviews. None of these people are like from my area. And my goal was to make sure that my area begins to see outside of itself too. So when they step on, they go see StephenthaDream. When they hit Virginia Beach, they go by VIP Studios, VIP TV. So that's kind of what I'm focused on, man. I've been trying to drop continents. I've been spending all the time interviewing people in Africa, because Africa is a huge country. Hip hop crazy, you know what I'm saying?
They love it.
Hip hop, so.
You've been doing your thing, man. I've been like to watch your progression, bro. Like, it's been amazing, to be honest with you. Like, the people that you've interviewed, the places that you've gone, and the reach that you've made. Like, VA should be very proud that you've gone up there and given them a platform and a voice, because a lot of these people I'm getting to learn about, and you do see, it's a difference. I tell people all the time, like, you can have a platform, like you can provide somebody with something, but like, what's the substance? Where's the content? Like, are you doing something that's gonna make me tune in? Are you just gonna ask them this, or do you like your content is something that can be watched, and you're giving people information, people something that's valuable. And a lot of people need to learn that these people sitting up here spend a lot of time researching y'all. They do a lot of time putting in work that we could be. I don't get to watch as many games as I would love to anymore, because I'm sitting there trying to watch your video. I don't, there's sacrifices that it takes. And I think that, the fact that you're starting out, expanding your platform, putting other people in positions to be seen and heard is great, man. But you've always done that, though.
I appreciate it, bro. I really do, man. For those of you who don't know, Steven and I have known each other for a long time. I don't know how long.
It's been 10 years now. It's been 10 years.
It's been 10 years? What was it? That's it. I didn't know if it could have been more for all I know. I didn't even know. It's been a long time though.
It's been maybe actually 09, I think. I think 09.
Okay, so yeah, we've known each other for like 11 years. As he shared, we went to the same college. Obviously, I went before him, but and he was an inspiration for me. There's a lot of inspirations. There's a lot of people who've been an inspiration, but I'm gonna keep it 100. He might have been really one of the earlier inspirations. Like, he might have been the first, because when you started doing the show in college, I was thinking to myself, because I was doing something. I had a business called Conscious Consultations. It was something different, but at the time, I didn't really think about this angle with it. And I was watching you do what you were doing. In my mind, I was like, I could do something like that. I need to do something like that. You know what I'm saying? And then I saw you just continue to elevate it. A lot of people don't know he worked at Violated South Studios for a minute. Dave Lighty, who's the brother of Chris Lighty, for those of you who don't know, Violated was the record label where 50 Cent, Busta Rhymes came from. And so, like, I've seen his travels, you know what I'm saying? I've seen him, respond to mentorship and, take from that, move to this, evolve, elevate, you know, and it was an inspiration. And you was really key to helping me with my second episode when we interviewed
Anthony Morrow.
Morrow, yeah, Westside Charlotte guy. So yeah,
And
man.
that was huge for me, bro. That's huge for me because I'm still a sports guy at heart. Like I'll always this music thing, I'll always want to do this, but to interview like I was interviewing pro players, but to be right there knowing a guy who, you know, was next to Curry, was next to Steven Jack, like was next to all these great guys, like that's what it's about. You put me on that platform. Like I'll never forget that. That's huge
Yeah,
for me.
that was a moment, man. That was definitely a moment, man. And we got to create more of those. I'm glad that we've been able to create this one, but we definitely got to create more of those, man. I've been thinking about coming down there. COVID kind of got me, you know, got messed up a little bit, but I definitely want to come down there, man. If you got any ideas on some things we can do together, man, maybe we can, you know, we can go into a venue and kind of do a live show or something, man. We can bring it all together.
I got something for us for sure. I wanted to ask you a question in terms of like your episodes. Have you had any like wild, crazy moments? Maybe either like viral moment, any moment that happened on camera that it was like, whoa, or like any episode that was just like that was wild.
Two things to stand out. First off, when Pusha T did the album release party for Kari 1K, when he did the event, that my video, I was the only person over the video camera that captured the content. So my YouTube video was attached to every hip hop magazine throughout the world, really, that released information on Pusha T's new label. Now, so I mean, it's got like 9,000-10,000 views. You know what I'm saying? But it was attached to every magazine, and so that was a cool like, you know, not viral, but it didn't go viral, but it went worldly known that that article, you saw the video digitally print, the digital Randy Wilson podcast was on there.
Right. Your name was attached. Yeah, for sure.
That was cool, but I would say I think right now the moment that just stands out the funniest to me. So I think G Sambo. G Sambo is. Are you familiar with G Sambo?
I am familiar with G Sambo.
He's making some noise. He's definitely making some noise out in the ATL right now.
Yeah, he is.
And all kind of rumors about him possibly getting down with Gucci and all kind of folks. I don't know what's going to happen, but he's definitely making things happen. But he was on the show, and he was telling his story about how he had juvenile life. He was locked up from like 12 to 20. So I was like, yo, man, you was locked up for 12 to 20, man. You missed out on so much of your childhood, you know. What did you feel like you missed out on the most? You know what I'm saying? When you look back at it, because you missed a lot. It was like, he looked at me like, bruh, I ain't eat pussy until I was 20, bruh. I was like, what? You telling me that the first thing you think about when I ask you what you missed out on after being incarcerated for the past 8-9 years of your life is that you ain't ate pussy until you was 20. Then he was like, you know what I'm saying? I missed that on smoking weed, like talking about, you know what I'm saying? I'd be dumb high now. I was like, it just wasn't what I expected. It threw me off, like super crazy. I mean, that was like a spontaneous.
Those moments, bro, like the moments that you spend sitting up there, like talking to somebody are crazy, and you know, like I've had just a similar moment to where like my biggest viewed interview is from a guy who I invited him up. He's an artist. So he tells the story. He says like, yeah, I've been hitting licks since I was 5 years old. My daddy went on the lick at 5. They got out the car. They did what they did. Came back. Boom, boom, boom. And it was like, the way he told the story was like, cool. I posted a clip and was like, yo, like, you never know what people, going through. And then the next day, like, I guess the people from his town were like, Cap, this is a lie. No, he didn't. What is he talking about? And it went viral, bro. Like it, like just viral in terms of like the local city and just I work with a lot of people in this from the same area, so everybody's talking about it. People are making parodies of it. People are like it. People made a TikTok of it, cut up our actual audio, put it in a TikTok and use it. So it's just things like that, and you're not, like you said, you're not expecting it, but you're just like, wow.
Yeah. I know when I got somebody on their cabin. I know, like, I got some people who came on there, and I'm just like, I mean, I'm not here to, publicly embarrass you or look, just ask the questions. You know what I'm saying? Like, the people are gonna determine for themselves if they find it legitimate or not. But yeah, man, I think that's part of the fun in what we do, bro. That's definitely part of the fun of what we do, man. And I tell you what, man, if the opportunity presents itself that we can get together and really make some things happen, I think that we could really be a tandem. You know what I'm saying? Just with the whole Virginia, North Carolina, bringing it together, man, we could probably, quadruple our numbers.
Since '09, there's been a Shine and Drama show in the making.
Say that again?
Since '09, there's been a Shine and Drama show in the making, and you know this. It's been in the making for a while, so like it's not unobtainable, especially with the technology that's been presented to us now in life. Yeah. So this is we definitely need to talk, bro, because I always say I'm not always active in what I do in terms of engagement and interaction, but I'm always paying attention, bro, and everything that you do, I'm always engaged with, bro. Your YouTube, your Instagram, the way you promote and everything, it's been A1, and I commend you in the time and the effort you put in, because it's happened like the way you build up your set, the things that you had to go through that were audio issues, visual issues. I've seen you overcome those. I've seen you, and sitting back watching, it's like you want to step in, but you're like, no, he gotta go through that. You know what I'm saying? You gotta do that, and you gotta do that, or you're not gonna appreciate it in the long run. So to see where you are now, bro, it's amazing.
But yo, man, I appreciate it, bro. I know I might be the big bro, but like I said, you was the model. You know what I'm saying? You was the inspiration, man. So
you had to be you do what you had to do what you had to do back there. We was over that. We good there, for life. You know what?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. StephenthaDream, This, That, and the Third. Let them know a little bit about the This, That, and the Third podcast for those who may not be familiar.
Yeah, so like I said, This, That, and the Third podcast, or This, That, and the Third interview series is what we just call an interview series where I sit down with an artist, typically from the Carolinas, and have them tell me their story. We didn't really have any media in the Carolinas for a long time. We don't have the Hot 97 interviews. We don't have the everyday struggles. We didn't have those. So my goal and purpose after living in Atlanta for a year in 2018, was to come back in 2019 to the Carolinas and bring media. So that's what we did. We interviewed, I want to say, 97 artists last year in about an 8-month span. And I think now, halfway through the year, we're at 60. So we're already outpacing what we expected to do for the year. And it's not about quantity. We are able to knock out a lot of interviews in a fast pace, but we've really been able to sit down with a lot of artists who one day we know will make it, and we'll have to go back and they'll say, that was my first interview. It's documented. It's right there with StephenthaDream. And some artists who may never get a chance to sit up with somebody and do an interview, but for a day, for a moment, they got that content. They know they felt like somebody's interesting. And I'm just someone who will literally, I'll listen to your project. If you got one song, if you do performances, I'm gonna go watch them. If you did interviews, I'm gonna go watch them, because I want you to understand I take my job serious. And I wanted to motivate you to do the same in what you do. I care about you if nobody else do. So
is everything at this point monetized?
Yeah. I will say this. There are some interviews where if it makes sense, then they will get
people all the time. I tell people all the time, like, if it makes sense.
It makes sense. It's always gonna make sense.
Now, it's gotta make sense. But if it can make sense. Exactly. Yeah, I just got to that place where it's like, man, I do a lot of stuff on my own. You know what I mean? I do got people around me, but I don't got people around me who's doing anything for free. You know what I'm saying? So
exactly. And you get to a point, and I got to a point where, I could start commanding, some money for these interviews. And a lot of it was squaring the market. Where else are you going to go? But not to be that way. But then it became, well, you can go over there, but you see when they went over there how their interview went, how my interview went. You pick what content. So even in that, just to say, like, the monetization is to pay the people on my crew. Yes, I'm making a profit. I'm making money. But yeah, my guy TJ, TZ LaFleur, TZ Da Vinci, Creative Eye Visuals. I shout him out every interview. He's the brainchild that allows me to take my mind off of things. I'm a micromanager. I'll sit there, and if I got to run the camera, if I got to run the sound, I'll do it. And I know that won't be the best quality, but when I got my guy TZ with me, he takes care of that. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to worry about it. All I got to do is present a great interview, and he deserves compensation for that. And that's what I'm about. And I hope to expand the team. But right now, man, we've been running it like that. If you find somebody good in your corner too, make sure that they appreciate it. Like every time I will not do an interview if his name ain't on it, if he's produced it. But that's my guy. So
Steven, man, I hate to do this, man, but they called me. So
it's all good.
This is just part one. We're gonna come back with the part two. I'm sitting here with StephenthaDream, this, that, and the third, #1 podcast in North Carolina and South Carolina. He also dabbles in Georgia. So it's been a pleasure to have you on the show, sir. Make sure to just go ahead and drop one more time. Let them know where they can find you.
Yeah, absolutely. Y'all can find me if you're a Carolina artist, if you want some promotion, Carolina Heat Up on all platforms. If you want to interview with me, this, that, in the third interview series, you can look it up on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. And then finally, if you guys want to contact me, bookings, consultations, if you want your song played on the radio, if you need a cameraman, if you need a producer, anything that you need personally, you can reach out to me. I'm not hard to reach. StephenthaDream, that's StephenthaDream. Catch me on all platforms, man. Randy, I really appreciate you, man. The Randy Wilson podcast. Every episode, man, y'all stay tuned and locked in with my guy.
Appreciate it, man. Make sure you follow both of them. Episode 47, Randy Wilson podcast on all podcast channels except SoundCloud. I don't rock with them. They don't rock with me. It's mutual. All right. But appreciate you all. See you next episode 48. DJ Bangers. Peace.